Well, hi there. Welcome to Brittlestar's Really Great podcast. And we're live streaming as well to X/Twitter. I call it Twitter still. Do you call it Twitter still?
I call it Twitter.
Yeah, same. Facebook and YouTube. So if you're watching on those things, feel free to chat. I think I can see your chat somewhere. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I can't see your chat. If I can't, it's probably better if I can't see your chat, actually, to be honest.
Well, let's see. Let's see what happens.
As you may or may not know, of course, my name is Stuart Reynolds. I'm better known online as Brittlestar. And with me today is a comedian, a friend, and also Irish person, Fiona O'Brien. Fiona, thank you for joining.
Oh, Stuart, I'm delighted to talk to anybody today, Stuart. I need to talk.
So, of course, we're referring to, just in case it's disconnected from space and time when you're watching and or listening to this, Donald Trump was reelected president of the United States of America yesterday. And it's left some people shook and a little discombobulated. But I wanted to have a little, I've talked to a number of people this morning and everyone's kind of like, what happened? I didn't find it as shocking as 2016, though. Did you find it as shocking as 2016?
I didn't. I kind of felt he was going to get in.
Did you?
I've been feeling that the last couple of months.
Yeah.
Because I have family in America and I go down and visit all the time. And the feeling down there was, oh yeah, he's going to get back in.
Right. I mean, I think when there was a guy named Sean O'Shea who works for Global News and he was doing reporting from Michigan. And I think it was the past few days he was reporting. And every single person he spoke to was like, oh, no, I'm voting for Trump. I'm absolutely voting for Trump. And I was like, oh, my God, maybe I must live in an echo chamber because I haven't had that vibe initially. But then it's like as we got closer and closer, people would ask me what I thought. I was like, I'm getting 2016 flashbacks. It's probably going to happen.
Yeah, I didn't even, I stayed up till around 10 last night with my neighbours.
Yeah.
We took a little gummy to help, to watch the election. It's legal here.
Yeah.
And I went to bed around 10 feeling happy and when I woke up, I was like, am I still high or has he been re-elected?
Yeah. It was, I sort of gave up after, because I remember in 2016, Shannon, my wife, and I did a live stream and we were like ready to celebrate. We had like the champagne and the fridge and stuff ready to celebrate America's first woman president with Hillary Clinton. And as you can, I don't think I must have deleted the stream because the mood and tone of the show just got more and more sad as the night went on. And to the point where I think we just ended it. We're like, we're out of here. We're done.
But did you drink the drink?
Yeah, but not in the same celebratory fashion.
Okay. Yeah, it's like, let's get hammered.
It's exactly like, how can we forget this? How can we forget this thing, this whole thing's happened? But there's been a lot of people who've been seeing online who are talking about how, how upset they are and how, this is like a shocker and how disappointed they are. And some people saying they're very disappointed in Americans. And I the one thing I respond to that with in my head anyway is that, stupidity doesn't need a passport. Stupidity is America doesn't have, sole rights to dumb people.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. But I wanted to give a positive spin on what's happened if I can. And there's very few. But I'm going to give a positive thing with the top 5 lessons I learned from Trump's reelection. So the top 5 lessons I learned from Trump's reelection. We'll just go through them. And again, these are right or wrong. I'm not saying these are good lessons. I'm not saying they're bad lessons, but feel free to let me know how you feel about this, Fiona, and we can talk about it. The first lesson, the most important lesson I learned is that the bar is low. A convicted criminal was just chosen to take the highest office in the land. So whatever you think is holding you back in your life, your own personal life, whatever you think's holding you, whatever things you think you've done in the past or have done in the past, don't sweat it. You could still be president. You can still do it. It's totally fine. You'll be okay. Do you not feel like that? Is that sort of your take as far as looking at it and going, all right, I guess nothing matters?
I think that it might give hope to a lot of prisoners in jail. I hope they play your podcast there.
It's the one part of the demographic, the population, that'd be like, wow, he's a real inspiration.
Yeah, they're all probably like, I'm gonna do it when I get out. Yeah, wow, it's pretty unbelievable.
Mhm.
Even though I know it's happening, it's still so surreal to me.
Yeah.
It kind of is. Anything can happen. I would believe anything at this stage. Listen, Stuart. Never mind him being elected president again. Camilla is now the Queen of England. I'm still getting my head around that.
You're fighting battles on all fronts, on both sides. Both sides of the Atlantic, you're fighting battles. Also, the second lesson I learned was that people will always think of themselves first. Again, not right or wrong. I'm just trying to learn lessons. I'm just trying to pull something out of this that I can use to move forward. And I feel that that's the second thing I learned, was that people always think of themselves first. People, despite whatever they say, will always choose what they think is best for them. Do you agree?
I agree with you, because having been down there a lot, I don't get the sense. It's such a huge place and so many billions of people, and you've got all different nationalities. It's a huge, huge country, and it differs from one end to the other end. But what I do see a common thread of down there is people look after what's happening in their own house. Yeah. And they're like, none of that outside stuff affects me.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that is, I mean, disheartening, but also at the same time, a bit of a reality check. Exactly that, where people are focused. They can only, and to be fair to people, they can only really focus on their own thing. I always try to equate it to like people who are trying to tread water. And they're in a pool, and it's one of those crazy wave pools, and things are happening. You're sloshing around. You can't get to the edge because of the stupid waves. I'm not talking from personal experience here, honestly. I am talking from personal experience. I'm terrified of wave pools. And people are treading water in this wave pool, and there's people at the side who are saying, hey, but listen, I want you to be concerned about these other people. And you're like, listen, man, I can't do this. I don't know if there's part of me that gets that and understands that. There's another part of me that thinks, I don't know if that's necessarily, it makes things sound dire. It makes it seem like everyone's just basically trying to survive, which I mean, they are, but at the same time.
I mean, that's the current climate. We're all trying to keep our head above water in this crazy economic climate, and mental health issues, and trying to keep our kids okay and ourselves okay. You're right. That analogy of you're in the wave, we are all individually trying to keep our heads above water.
So once again, wave pools are evil.
They are, and filthy.
Do you think they're filthy?
Oh God, yeah. I've been in. So? There's been Band-Aids. There's been poo.
Oh my God! You got to go to.
You should be scared of them.
You got to go to a better water park. This is terrible. Third lesson I learned from Trump's re-election is that there's an information gap. This is more of a observation, I think. We have never had such easy access to information, right? We've all got our phones, we've all got computers, we've all got all that kind of stuff, access to the internet. We've got access to all the information in the world, every possible angle of everything we needed to, and nobody cares. And I wrote down as a little side note here, quote, no guff, say libraries. I think it's the information's there, but nobody wants to use it. Nobody cares. Do you think that's one thing I've noticed, is that I often talk with other people who are very interested in politics and world events and news and all that kind of stuff. And they say, yeah, but we're just a tiny percentage. Like Sandy Garacino on Canada Watching US News always says to me, we are the nerds. We are like the microscopic little bit of the population who's consuming every bit of information. It goes, yeah, but he said this on Thursday the 13th. And well, yeah, but he said this on the 28th. And it's like most people don't know, don't hear, don't care about that stuff at all. Even though that information's there. Do you think there's any, first of all, do you agree? And then secondly, do you think there's any way out of that?
I think I agree with it. And I think the way out of it is people need to be getting their information in these tiny little sound bites on TikTok. That's where everyone's getting their information.
And you think we should double down on that? I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's a bad idea. I think it might be a great idea.
It's so fast. Everything has to happen now so fast and
Yeah.
keep people's attention, or we're on to the next thing. So if they're able to get information across within seconds to somebody, then more information will be spread.
Yeah, it's interesting. I talked to I think we were talking to David Musgrove, and he's a writer guy and Canada's favorite pessimist, and he said essentially I suggested the same idea, like things need to be really quick. We need to really need to play in that game, because that's exactly it. Everyone's at scroll culture, right? It's not getting any better. It's faster. There's even more information and things have to poke up. And the other side of that is I was talking to a friend this morning he was saying that I think when the Democrats in the US started saying, well, Trump's basically Hitler, and that was kind of the messaging that was coming through, that is the only thing that kind of popped up, and everyone went, nah. They didn't know about all the other stuff. They didn't know about all the supporting documentation in all that stuff. Not that I'm saying he is.
Be careful.
Exactly. But I mean, that idea where it's like only the outrageous stuff will poke out and be able to cut through the noise. But I mean, is there any way to fix that, or we just have to deal with it? We just have to live with it.
I think we have to live with it, because people's attention spans now are gone. And people, unless it's an outrageous headline, people aren't going to read it.
Yeah. Yeah.
People don't have the attention span. Like I'm guilty of it. If
Sure.
I'm not working doing a show one night, I'll have the television on and I'm scrolling on my phone, and that's how I watch television now. So I'm not even paying attention to either thing.
Oh. Doesn't make me happy.
I know.
But it's true. You're totally right. Because like Shannon and I will be watching something informative and educational like Love is Blind. And we'll be on our phones at the same time.
Yeah, of course.
Because I think there's this weird thing where people have this FOMO, right? They have this fear of missing out because of scroll culture, because there's always something new. I receive, like, I get the paper newspaper. I get the actual Globe and Mail delivered to my driveway every morning. Because I'm a random
showing off.
I'm a classic man. But I thought to myself this morning, as I went out and got the paper, they didn't have time to print up the fact that Trump had won. They said it's very divided. And I thought, oh, this poor paper, like they can't possibly compete with that, because even
with the speed of
So I sat the paper down beside me. I was like, well, there's no point in reading this because I'm already like a day ahead in everything. Everything's changed. So we just have to play. You think we just have to get over it and just start working at that speed?
I don't think we're going back there. And like that, it's going to be the nerds, as you say, that will actually delve in and take time to read what's underneath that outrageous headline.
Yeah. Okay. Here's my fourth lesson I learned from Trump's reelection. People hate being told what to do.
Oh.
It doesn't matter if it's in their best interest, their own best interest. People will tune it out and get defensive when they're told what to do. Do you agree?
I do agree.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I think even though they're being told from both sides what to do, I think it gets people's backs up immediately. And they'd be like, no, I'm going to do what I want to do. You're not telling me. It's that power dynamic.
It's like just being defiant. It's just being, getting your back up. Exactly. And I think, I guess if you can kind of relate that to everyday life, if someone's like, you have to stop eating salted butter by the spoonful, you'd be like, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And then even if you're not really into eating salted butter by the spoonful, you go to the fridge or go to your cupboard, if you keep it in the cupboard, if you have like one of those butter things that Shannon has got, and you have a spoonful of butter right away because you're like, well, screw you.
Yeah, I'll show them. Yeah.
So what's wrong? What's wrong with humans that we do that? That makes no sense. It's self-destructive.
Are we all turning into narcissists? And I'm learning all about them on TikTok, by the way.
In what way are you learning about them on TikTok?
every time I turn on TikTok, it's all about, is your ex a narcissist? Are you a
Oh,
narcissist? Or your
so
kids
you're in the
narcissists?
algorithm hole
I must have looked at one of them and now I'm getting all of them.
Yeah.
You can hear my dog in the background. She's whining
Oh,
because
that's
she's not
okay.
getting, because she's a narcissist and she's not getting attention.
I think your dog's whines speak for us all.
Yeah,
Your dog, she's saying what we're thinking. It's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. Yeah, I think people do get their back up. I think that people hate being told what to do. And I think you had, with with the Democrats. And I think there's just this general, even you can even expand it further, right? Because Canada's got this issue as well. I think everywhere has the issue. Yeah. Where you've got this, and I'm air quoting, woke culture, whatever that happens to mean to people. Yeah. And it reminds me, and I've said this so many times recently, and I've said it to people who are like my kids' age in the early 20s, early mid 20s, and they just kind of go, "Oh God." But it reminds me of the early 90s when there was a really big push for political correctness. Again, air quoting that. And there was a resistance to that. There was a no, because I think the pendulum swung so hard in one direction before it swung back in the other direction. And I think it kind of, to be fair, has to do that for progress to happen. But there was like an immediate resistance to like, well, all men are terrible. And then you say those words, not all men. And you're it's nuanced. I get it. I understand it. But there's also this, like, you dig your heels in and you're like, I won't be told that I'm wrong. I won't be told that I'm to blame. I won't be told that I've got it better off than somebody else. Yeah. And I'm not sure there's any way to get around that. Like, I'm not sure there's any way I think that's maybe just human nature that we do that we don't want to be told what to do. But
it's probably coming from our childhoods.
Yeah. Yeah. As a kid. Yeah. Totally. The number 5 lesson I learned from Trump's reelection, if you're ready for it.
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay. It's pretty dire.
Nothing's going to shock me today. Come on.
Okay. All right. Here goes. I think it makes sense, though. And again, these aren't right or wrong. These are just lessons I learned. Money is all that matters. Money has the most immediate and direct impact on people and their lives. If you're sick, if you've got money, you could probably find someone on the planet who will heal you, or at least hopefully heal you. If you're hungry and if you got money, you can eat. Not a problem. Money seems like it can solve pretty much any problem, and it kind of does. Not every problem. Not every problem, but it kind of does. Yeah. And I think that it doesn't matter all the nonsense about, and terribleness about like the Madison Square Garden rally with Trump, where he had that comedian saying that Puerto Rico was an island of garbage. And the jokes about black people, the jokes about gay people. And it's like all the terribleness and all the horribleness. Nobody latches onto that stuff. It doesn't matter that it was even said, which is, again, I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm saying I personally think that's a terrible thing. However, the only thing that sticks is when someone says, do you want to make more money? Do you want more money? Do you think more money would help your life? I'm here to help you with that. And you see that in Canada as well, right? With the tax and all that kind of stuff. People don't care what the implications of that are whatsoever. They just hear, I get more money. That means I will be better. Which, I mean, to the sense they're kind of right in a sense.
I mean, we all want more money.
It's true. Right?
When I was talking to a lot of American people, they were saying they were better off when Trump was in power. Yeah. And they want that back because they had a taste of it and they wanted it back. And they were better off and they felt the country was... the economy was better. And the thing is with America, you're inheriting all of these other issues that have been going on for years, and not every president's going to be able to solve everything. But the one thing I will agree on is they were all saying that they financially were better off. Yeah. And they do care about that. Because the price of everything at the moment, my God. Yeah. I mean, and what's interesting is that, with Trump being reelected, all the markets went up. All that money stuff suddenly got more moneyed somehow. Yeah. Magically. Well, I'll be getting a really good Christmas present from my sister and her family this year, I'll tell you.
So there's benefits. But yeah, I think that you just see that immediate impact. And I think we like to think the immediate impact of money. And I think we like to think that we're benevolent and that we're good to the core, and we think of others and those that have less than us. And I'm really not too sure that we, and under the crunch, that we actually do. I think everybody looks out for themselves, which is, like, again, not good or not right or wrong. It's just what I think it seems to be, which is kind of depressing.
It is kind of depressing, but the other thing is you can't blame people in another sense for feeling like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I don't know. I'm still in disbelief. I still think I'm high.
Esther was just saying, do you think perhaps people are confusing global economic issues caused by the pandemic with economic policies and their actual benefits? Absolutely. I think that I don't want to keep harping on, I always remind people, it's like the pandemic was kind of a big deal. It was kind of a thing. Like, it was kind of disruptive. And it had a lot of lasting impacts on us, both good and bad. Mostly not great. Good. The patios in downtown Stratford are fantastic. Are lovely. They're great. The bad, well, there's lots of bad stuff that happened. But I think there's a lot of that. People kind of just want to forget it, and they want to kind of just get on with it. They want to get on with their lives. And again, right or wrong, it doesn't matter. It is what it is. So just as we finish out here, Fiona, what are your general thoughts? Do you have any top fives? Do you have any lessons learned?
The first thing it made me think of was that, and I tweeted this out earlier, America reminds me of that one friend you have that you love and you want to spend time with, but in small doses. She's that one friend who breaks up with her toxic boyfriend. You sit, listen to her for hours, get hammered with her, bitch all about him, and you're like, yeah, he's horrible, leave him, that's it. And you say all these things, and then she gets back with him.
Yeah.
That's the feeling. Because I do like America. I love America. I love going there. I know loads of fabulous people in America, and I visit all the time.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I'm just like, what are you thinking? And then there's other times I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. I see some people are so far, I'm never going to America again and blah, blah, blah. I'm still going to go to America. I love America.
Yeah, that's nonsense. That's nonsense.
Am I a huge fan of Trump? Listen, he's very good for comedy. Joe was very boring. Sleepy Joe, as we called him, you know?
So the one benefit we've got is that comedy and Wall Street, the two benefits are out. They're up. Everything's up.
And listen, there's no point in bitching about that or saying, what about blah, blah, blah. This is the reality. He's in now for 4 years and we're going to have to make the most of it. Let's get on with this. See what happens. You know, he's that one friend. It's the one friend you have a separate group message with your other friends, and then that one friend's in the other group message.
So you can talk about that friend with the other group. Yeah, I think that's correct. It's probably true. Well, listen, Fiona, thank you so much. Where can people find you?
You can find me on FionaO'BrienComedy.com, and that will show you any shows I have coming up and my social media. You can find me on TikTok, torturing my daughter with Alexa announcements into her dorm in her university, which I just discovered that little miracle a few months ago.
It's paid off.
Oh, it really has. It's fabulous.
Well, fantastic. Well, thanks so much for hanging out and chatting. I hope you come back at some point and chat
thank
some
you.
more.
And you've actually made today a lot easier and happier. So I appreciate that, Stuart.
Oh, I think that we've done that together.
Yes, we have.
If you're enjoying this, you'd like to see more of these Brittlestar's really great podcast, just subscribe at brittlestar.com, and you'll get more in your email, and you find us your favorite podcasting platform. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you guys later. See ya.